That has been another episode of Around the Rinks, your go-to hockey podcast. We'll see you next time.
We are back, another episode of Around the Rinks, episode 13. I'm Noah, joined by Brendan, Kylee, and Reece. About halfway through the first round. Some exciting series going on right now. It is like kind of insane. It's kind of how we kind of thought it was going to go. Besides maybe this first series that we're going to go into, where Dallas and Vegas, this has been kind of a lackluster. I don't want to say lackluster, but
I
it's
can't
not.
believe I fucking listened to you guys.
What's that?
I
Yeah.
had Vegas in 5 games, and that's how it's gonna go. And I caved to you 3 just staring me down.
We're gonna regret half of those picks. I said it when we did it. It's like the Islanders pick I made. We'll get into
And
that.
honestly,
but
just to touch on it a little bit, I don't know how. Did any of us have a single sweep?
no,
I had one. I
did
guess.
you
Yeah.
actually?
Yeah, I didn't give. Who was it?
Caps?
No, Islanders again.
Yeah,
I said that Carolina was going to take it in 4.
I wouldn't be
I
shocked
might.
if we see both of those series be a sweep.
We might see 3 sweeps in the East.
Yeah.
Like it might be a short. Like I think I saw it. The Eastern Conference playoff first round could be done by Tuesday,
That's
which is
insane.
hilarious. So we could just be seeing Western Conference games for the next week.
Yeah, I think the West will be completely the
God
opposite.
forbid.
But yeah, this could be a short series too, though. Stars and Knights, and I don't know what's happening to the Stars. It's that, or it's just the Knights are just that good. Golden Knights might just be that good.
Well, I saw a thing. Or sorry,
Go ahead.
I saw a thing that basically they had to take a D-man out of the lineup because he was hurt, and so it's like if Edmonton has to take a D-man out of the lineup, Troy Stetcher comes in, right? Which isn't
yeah.
God forbid. They're pulling Alec Martinez in.
Yeah.
Like they have so much depth on that Vegas team, and so does Dallas. But like that fourth line you saw all playoffs last year, I think it's reunited with Waugh, Kolazar, and Howden.
That sounds right.
Yeah. Anyways, like those guys are basically a third line. Like they buzz around. Like they've got pretty much a full top 9 of players. Like just all throughout their full forward group. I can't believe we underestimated them once again. It's so frustrating.
And that line you just said, that was a big reason they won the Cup last season, right?
Seriously.
And now they're just pretty much aligned up. Like, it's insane how deep this Vegas team is and is showing off. And they have Logan Thompson playing in net. Game 1, he had a .733 save percentage. Doesn't matter. No. It actually doesn't matter who's in net for Vegas. And I'm surprised they did go with Thompson.
Yeah.
Hill did have, like, not the best recovery coming off of injury there, but like he's the guy from last year. You'd think he'd go again, but it doesn't matter, honestly. Like you can throw anybody in there. You can throw some beer leaguer like me, and I'm sure I can make a couple saves, but
Yeah, just, I don't know, another reminder of just don't doubt them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
They've been doing it since they got into the league, and I've been doubting them for 5 years straight, and
they keep doing
they
it.
just keep on making me eat my words.
I just find it so ironic that Mark Stone scored the first goal of the series.
And then the second one was Hurdle.
Yep. How about those two guys? They've looked insane together. Like instant chemistry, just like that. And I guess that's what just great players do, right? Doesn't really matter. They just find a way to play some great hockey together. So, yeah, just a couple storylines. No, I don't think. What? Sorry.
Ottinger's done no favors. to
No,
Dallas
I was
either.
gonna get into that as well, but nobody's angry about Stone and Hurdle doing this, right? I don't think the media is any. I haven't seen anything.
Like I think it was Dave Saravalli who was saying like he had talked to one of the players in the playoffs and was just basically like, what do you think of like Mark Stone coming back and scoring game 1? Like, and they're like, well, you know, like I wish we could do it. Like I wish we could do that kind of thing, but nothing is ever going to be solved until the next CBA.
Yeah.
And I don't know when the next CBA is. It's probably another couple of years.
It's a bit from now, I think.
So like. This is something that we're going to be looking at for a long time, and it's just something we're going to have to accept. But fuck, it is so annoying.
Yeah, it's something that's just has been going on, right? Extremely, like in the 2000s, since the cap era, honestly.
Yep.
Teams have just been doing this. I said that Chicago Dynasty did it all. LA did it. Tampa's, of course, did it in their back-to-back cups. And then now Vegas is doing it once again, right? So, and just on the Dallas side, Ottinger hasn't been. I think Dallas's only player that has like shown up is Robertson, who was probably more surprising one because he didn't have a good series last year, right?
Yeah.
So he's showing up. He's actually playing like a playoff player right now, but nobody else is now. And we were talking about how good veterans are on Dallas. I was saying how veterans wins you fucking games and whatnot, and Dallas has so many of them. They haven't really shown up. That third line haven't shown up. You're paying Sagan, Ben $10 million, right? So they're not showing up. It's a tough watch. It's only 2 games in, right? And you're not in trouble until you lose at home. Oh, wait.
Yeah.
You're not in trouble until you lose on the road, I guess, is how Dallas is going to have to look at it. And for game 2, Andre also he had an okay save percentage, but 2 of those goals you just can't let in. And then, but your team only scores 1 too, right? So
Yeah, you're not going to win many hockey games with 1 goal for, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I mean, like, honestly, Dallas has a lot of vets and stuff.
Yeah.
But there's also, like, they do have quite a few young guys. Like, especially that third line. Like, I mean, Ben can only bring you so far. Like, you got Stankoven, who's played only a handful of NHL games, let alone playoffs. And, I mean, Johnston was in last year, I think.
I want to say he was, yeah.
But, I mean, like, there's definitely, like, and, I mean, those guys were pretty high impactful when, like, that Robertson line wasn't going all season.
Mm-hmm.
So, I don't know. I think they can, honestly, if there's any team that can get out of this 2-0 hole, like, it's Dallas.
Yeah,
for sure.
we see a couple of them. We see 3-0 holes right now. I think Dallas is the one team that can definitely turn it around. And they're going to Vegas.
You have to win 2 in Vegas.
You have to win 2 games in Vegas, which is not an easy game. Those are probably.
No.
I mean,
I don't want to go into Vegas.
It was
must-win.
It was voted by the players as the hardest arena to play in, right? So
and
It's
probably
so
not even that
electric there.
close.
yeah, it's probably it's gonna be a fun series. I'm curious how they're gonna do in the next 2 games. It's all or nothing for them right now. But
I did want to touch on a third line that is doing really good right now. Dakota Joshua and Connor Garland are absolutely ripping it up right now as a third line.
we'll get there when we go to the Canucks preview. Well, you know what? Screw it. Let's go right there. Let's go to the Canucks Preds right now. Tied series 1-1. Like you said, game 1 to Dakota Joshua. Absolutely insane. He was the hero there. Unsung hero. Scoring a game winner. Then I think he scored the empty netter as well. So
And just guy loves scoring goals.
yeah, right?
I mean, who
Big time
doesn't?
goals.
But that dude, like, you see his face, he is screaming like, I don't want to mess with that guy.
I thought I saw like a funny nickname for him for the playoffs. Just whatever playoff performer Joshua.
Donkey Kong?
Yeah,
Dakota no.
I don't know.
I kept seeing people
he's a
calling him
great guy.
DK.
DK?
Yeah. But
Well,
it
Dakota-
doesn't even make sense.
DK is Dakota.
Oh,
yeah.
I guess so.
Yeah, that would make sense.
I was thinking DJ for Dakota Joshua.
DJ will also be a good one. But yeah, what a guy. Unsung hero for that third
Seriously.
line.
And all season, honest to God, like, this bottom 6 in Vancouver, I've looked at and been like, these guys suck. Like, and, like, for some reason, Dakota Joshua is just, like, so dominant sometimes anytime I'm watching these Canuck games. And, I mean, he's honestly got to be when you look at a guy like Pettersson, who has been a shell of himself for the last quarter of the year.
Totally. Yeah. I honestly, since the All-Star break, I want to say he's been...
Since he signed that extension, in my opinion.
True, honestly. Yeah, he got the money and then he started... Yeah.
What's up with these Swedes doing that?
So, right? Where's Nylander?
Little tease.
Where's Peterson? Yeah. Pettersson. But first game, Demko, amazing. Probably stole the show right there.
That
in a
save he
4-2.
made in the
oh
first
my
period
God.
was
That
so
set the tone.
ridiculous.
Like, when you make a save like that...
Yeah. How demoralizing was that probably for Nashville walking into that rink, and that place was buzzing.
Absolutely buzzing. Like, and they played U2.
Yeah.
I know they played it.
What a mental
the 2010.
mind
I know
fuck.
they did play it in the 2011 Cup run.
Yeah.
So it's kind of tradition, but like Nashville, it's kind of a troll. I feel it's hilarious.
That was the first playoff game in Rogers Arena since 2014 or 2015, I think.
Yeah.
They almost
probably.
had a decade of darkness. It was 9 years.
Wow.
So they're absolutely buzzing for a playoffs run. That arena is just electric right now. Them playing U2 in
It's
the
so
opening
funny.
song and the crowd going absolutely wild. Me and my dad didn't really clock it at first. And then my dad was like, wow, what a burn. Like they stuck the knife in and then just twisted it.
Honestly, I don't want to think that's what they were going for that.
I do.
Again, I know that's hilarious if it is. Like,
Little double-edged sword.
Yeah, yeah. Honestly, it is just a double-edged knife right there.
That does
right?
seem like some bulletin board material.
Oh, probably. Honestly,
Like I honestly, Nashville is one of those teams like out of any one seed of the division that was facing
Wild
aside
card.
Dallas,
yeah.
but I mean like this series was pretty up in the air in my opinion. Like
Totally.
Vancouver, I don't think was like that strong, and I mean like that second game, like they did not look good.
Yeah,
and like. That third period, obviously, they dominated, but you see that super often when teams are looking for a goal,
Well,
right?
did you see the shot attempts? I don't have the numbers in front of me, which kind of stinks, but they
not
had,
either.
like, Nashville blocked 30-some shots. They missed the net 20, 30 times and ended up only getting, 25 on net or something like that. Like,
I know they had
that's
four.
pretty
in
tough.
Nashville had 4 shots in the last period.
Wow. There it is. Yeah, 4 shots. Canucks only did have 6, so they only had 18. Oh my God, it was 18
Yeah,
to
like,
16 in shots that
It was
entire game.
It was the second period of was that game 1 of the Oilers? I can't remember. Anyways, it was like the second
would've
period
been.
of the Oilers game, and they'd already doubled the shots of that game. Like
But the biggest factor of this series going forward now is Thatcher Demko, who was lights out game 1, then is undisclosed injury he might be out for the playoffs.
well, and that's what they're saying.
And
right?
that's what
There's
they
big
might be.
question mark.
Of
He'll
course,
be back. He'll be back.
Yeah,
and now they're
you-
saying
you never
he
know.
might not even be ready for a conference final.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were saying, oh, he's just out for round 1, and now they're like, I don't
All
know.
right,
We're not
dude,
gonna see him
not
round
conference
2.
final,
it's a
then it might be the whole
different
playoffs.
injury. This is a different injury than what he was out for earlier in the season.
That's
too.
all we know. So, and they never tell us anything for injury wise during the playoffs, of
Welcome to
course.
hockey.
But it's a scary. Now you have Casey DeSmith going in game 2,
Silvas.
and you thought it's like maybe he can do it. Canuck fans are going crazy. Casey. They're all cheering his name and whatnot. Probably
Yeah,
giving
that-
maybe a little added pressure
That
coming into a
video
playoff
of
game.
Vancouver, all the fans chanting his name, and the puck just slowly crosses the line,
Yeah.
and the chants just stop, like a snap. It
But
was so brutal.
He had an 800 save percentage in that game too, which is not a good playoff debut right there.
hard
He
to-
did play in
in the barbecue chicken.
Yes,
or the
in the spicy pork-
chicken, yeah, spicy pork game.
broccoli, yeah, with Louis Domingue
Yeah, when
last year or the year before.
Tristan Jarry was hurt, and
DeSmith came in for
yeah.
overtime, then got injured like third overtime, I think it was, and
Yeah.
Louis Domingue came in and won the game.
and he was sitting there on the bench eating spicy pork
Yeah.
before he was playing.
Great, that was a great. I remember that. That was pretty funny. But this is gonna be this is a funny thing I got from the Canucks right now is that they won't be allowing any public viewings of Canuck playoff games in Vancouver due to safety concerns.
What?
Not surprised.
You
Oh,
can
are
see
they
it.
scared of another riot? Or?
They have a little bit of a history. I mean, when they won Game 1, they were climbing statues and stuff, right? So
Yeah, when you're not in the playoffs for so long, it's going to get a little crazy.
Yeah, you don't know how to act after a couple of years.
nah, it's the
forgot.
Canucks.
Even you'd see all these videos from the Oilers watch party in years past. Like, I mean, it's just a couple hooligans making everybody look bad, but you can't have a watch party without a fight in that little
Yeah.
Ice District.
Yeah,
I mean,
right?
I
Like,
saw there was a fight in the last one.
like,
in
it's
the
just-
last 2, yeah. I'm pretty sure
Get
there has
front row
been.
seats.
Yeah. Well, actually, the quick
You're the one that
story.
started it, eh?
Yeah, I was pushing this girl. Just kidding.
Yeah. Reel that one
But
back.
I was sitting there and I was trying to get like footage and stuff, and the security let me come down, kind of like where they were like blocking the lines off and stuff. And so I'm sitting there getting like the national anthem and everything, and then all of a sudden I start hearing this like shit going on behind me, and it's all the people in line to get in, and like they're not letting anybody in, like it's max capacity, and so. All of a sudden, there's like the stuff going on, and I look back, and there's like 25 people coming at these security guards, and I'm right there with like this super expensive camera, and I'm like, oh my god, and I'm like trying to like tuck into this like little corner, and then there's like people just running in there, pushing security, and then all of a sudden this chick stops like mid like jaunt into this moss pit, and she's like, "Is that your camera?" I was like, "Yeah." She's like, "Good luck with that." I was like, "Oh my gosh!" So yeah, I got this crazy footage of people just blowing past the security guards, and there was like 20 security guards coming running over. That place is chaos.
I remember last year it was really bad with them breaking down the barricades and whatnot
that
too.
video was brutal. There was
they
like,
made it 18 plus
Yeah.
last year, and everyone was so pissed. But I think it was well deserved, honostly.
We might see it again, honestly, because it is crazy how many Oiler fans show up for that. Too many. But I guess
yeah, that's why Vancouver shouldn't have it. They don't deserve it.
I don't know. Canadian markets are going to be Canadian markets. That's a good segue to the next game, though, with probably the loudest arena, Winnipeg versus Colorado. That was crazy. Whiteout and Game 1, their playoff entrance, fans are going electric. I love the Whiteout so much. Like, that is such a good visual to look at.
Pretty sick.
And what a way to start Game 1, though, right? That is a great way to start playoffs. 7-6 game. Like, you score a touchdown against Colorado. Like,
Did you see that stat about teams named Jets since whatever year it was, scoring 7 points?
7 points.
The New York Jets had a big old rip, and Winnipeg Jets had 2.
Yep.
That's crazy.
That's yikes. But Game 1, that was Georgiev's like, okay, what's going to happen? He had a .696 save percentage that game. That's tough. Hellebuck didn't have the best game either, but he let in one less goal, which is all you ask, right, from your goaltender.
When you score that much on Hellebuck and you still don't win, that's insane.
Yeah, extremely
Yeah.
with a team like Colorado who's like, yeah, we can score 6 goals. Winnipeg scoring 7? Hold on. That is not likely.
But that was literally the Adam Lowry show.
Oh my
Like,
God, that kid is
watching-
insane.
I had saw
Not
a
really a
thing
kid, but-
that he should, just a talk, that he should be considered for the 4th line center on the Olympic team.
Totally.
And after watching this first little bit of that Winnipeg series, and he dominated Edmonton when they got swept a couple years ago, he is a son of a gun to play against. Excuse my language.
Hey, it's why you got the C, right?
But like that clip of him body slamming Rantanen, getting the puck, and literally just weight rooming McKinnon, driving the net and scoring was like the sickest thing I think I've ever seen.
Totally.
He is a beast.
Him and Scheifele have been just so good this series. I guess the last 2 games. Too bad Winnipeg doesn't take Game 2 as Georgiev has his redemption game, quote unquote. I guess it's such a weird goaltending talk in Colorado because their backup goalie's ill or something. Their other goalie, third stringer, is probably you're not going to play him, right? So they stuck with the guy.
The Francouz they had
And
a couple
Francouz.
years ago, he was hurt and then he just retired.
Just retired, right? So they've always had Francouz as their backup, and he's been reliable
And
for
he
them,
was a
right? He was
stud
sick last
when
year or the year before.
Yeah, when Kemper was going through that eye stuff
Mm-hmm.
in the playoffs a couple of years ago, he just stepped in, and I think he won 3 of the 4 games against Edmonton.
Yeah, that sounds right. So it's tough not having a backup who's ill now. So you stick with the guy, Georgiev, and at least he has a redemption game. So
Yeah.
.933 save percentage. Hellebuck sucked that game, and that is why Winnipeg lost that one. He 871 save percentage. I don't know what happened. It's not the Connor Hellebuck. We see the stats all the time. He's probably he is gonna win the Vezina for this season. Like that's probably a lock and stone right there. This postseason though, he's a couple tough games. I think he has a 5 goals against average. 5 goals. So that's
For a team that went on a 37 game stretch or whatever it
With
was,
letting-
letting 2 goals or less in for 12 goals in the first 2 games to go, that is quite the shake. But it does go to show you how well that Colorado team is put
Totally.
together.
and you want to say something?
Nope.
No? Okay.
Keep firing away, boys. You guys are doing great
We
work
talked
over
about Scheifele and Lowry. Lehkonen and Nichushkin has been amazing, extremely in that game too. Those 2 guys are beasts, and that's who they were missing last. Like Nichushkin didn't play last series against Seattle last postseason, and he has been the difference maker in this series so far. Like McKinnon hasn't been that scoring every game right now already.
Yeah.
Like he hasn't been taking over. Those guys are. Lekkonen's been playing so well defensively, and Cale Makar is playing Cale Makar, so not a big deal there.
Yeah, I think he's got 5 points.
Yeah,
in
it's
games or whatever. It's that Colorado team is so well put together, and
Totally.
honestly, Casey Middlestad has been a lot better than I think people expected. Like I think
that was
what
a
they're
great
running
trade.
right now is Drouin, Rantanen, and McKinnon on that first line, and then that's who Lowry and whoever else is on his line goes up against.
Yeah.
And then that Middlestat, Lehkonen, like you don't really expect it out of him, but Nichushkin is like a beast. Like he can definitely drive play himself, and so then you got a fairly like so far defensively reliable center in Middlestat, and then Lehkonen, who's like a water bug, can do anything. Like that's a good
like
lineup.
Swiss
when you're
Army
getting
knife
good,
guy.
Yeah, like you get good matchups with that line. Like I'll take that.
Yeah, and if we talk about third lines, that's a third line. That's a second line that can win you another cup, right?
Seriously.
So, and Lehkonen was a big part of that Colorado run 2 years ago, right?
Yeah.
So he's one of those underrated forwards.
I
on that
really
team.
like Lehkonen.
I'm a big fan. I miss him in Montreal. But any last words from you two?
I want to talk about the Oilers.
Which I guess we're going to right now. Kings Oilers tied 1-1 in the series. I'm going to let you guys take it away. I think I've been talking quite too much.
I think it's absolutely insane that I could be definitely wrong about this, but I think I saw a stat that McDavid's the only person to record 5 points in one playoffs game.
I think 5 assists
Or 5 assists.
or something like that.
Yeah, I have
It
no
was
idea.
it was something insane.
It was crazy.
I
Like
saw a stat and it was just like this, and then it's just McDavid sitting there, and I was like, this is insane. I think
Yeah.
he had a great first game.
Okay.
it's.
I don't want to talk about game 2.
I think if you asked me this, like how I thought the series was going on Tuesday morning, I would have been Oilers in 4. Let's go! You're not shutting this team down.
And
Like
then the
but,
nightmares
I mean,
are coming.
Like, yeah, you look at that game on Tuesday night. That's not the same team. I don't think. Like that's the thing that really I have a hard time with this team is like you go one night and you go to the next and it's two totally different teams.
Yep.
And you got to give credit to LA, like they played better as well. But like you can't have your bottom 6 score 2 goals and Dylan Holloway of all people, like
What a
the
beast.
young guy, like that should get the boys buzzing and just totally flat. Kulak scoring. I can't remember
Absolute
who got
bomb.
the 4th. Hyman. But I mean like you got 3 guys scoring or 3 goals from guys that aren't scoring very often. You have to win that game.
Yeah, 100%.
Speaking of guys,
A couple bad bounces go Edmonton way, and like really nice plays on.
I mean, that
like, the
Kempe goal.
Yeah.
Oh, Kempe's so
it
sick.
got half whacked, and he takes a half swing and then knocks it in.
That
Like,
was sick.
what do you do? Right?
Yeah,
Like
that's
you
so
tip your
gross.
cap.
Then there's the
Thank you very
Doughty one.
much.
Yeah, like I don't
Doughty,
really...
that stunk.
That was
right? I mean,
first goal since 2014.
which is crazy.
Yeah.
Really crazy.
I swear
and
you.
especially on a half break. How often do you see Doughty jump up
Yeah,
on a
right.
half break like that? But unchecked from below the goal line all the way to the blue line. How does he skate
Just go all the way.
2 zones and no one looked at him? Like, it
I
makes
could
no
be wrong.
sense.
It might be Doughty or Kempe, but I think Nurse was on one of them, and he didn't really like do much about it.
I think Nurse was defending that
The Kempe goal,
Kopitar.
Kopitar,
Yeah,
yeah.
overtime. And that too. Like
That was
it's just a fluky play in the neutral zone, and
Yeah.
give Byfield credit for making that play, but it lands right on the tape. Like it sucks. The
Yeah, I don't
coverage
really-
needs to be better. There's really no excuse, but at the same time,
There's
as flat
can't be
as
gapped up like that either.
Exactly.
Like when you see it, like I don't know that play. Also, Kopitar is 36 years old. Like he couldn't
Doing
move
that.
when he was 20. Like he couldn't barely
Yeah.
skate when he was 25, let alone now.
well, it's like the Pavelski thing. He never lost his first step because he
Yeah.
never had it.
Like it's so that watching that goal over again, and I saw people like calling out Skinner, and I mean like he didn't play
No.
great that game too.
No,
but
he had a
I don't
tough
think
game.
we can solely blame
like
him.
I have a
though.
hard time like Kempe's batting it out of the air.
Well, the only one that you really want back is that
Doughty one.
Fiala goal,
Okay.
Oh yeah, the Fiala one. Yeah.
where he's screened, but it's a worm burner and.
Honestly, like,
Stinks.
and like, God forbid you really has a bad game. Game 1, he was lights out.
Yeah.
Like those 2 goals in the garbage minutes, I could care less about.
Yeah,
He had
those don't even
amazing
count.
saves
Yeah,
in game
exactly.
That's a 6-2
but
game in my
Talbot had a great game.
Talbot,
Yeah.
that save he made on Draisaitl on the power play was, I think, the deciding factor in the game. I think it was tied
made a
at that
couple
point.
great glove
Yeah,
saves.
like he's that was a redemption game.
Yeah, definitely. Talbot, that was the story, I guess. Let in one less than the other guy, right? And that Kempe Kopitar Byfield line.
Don't split them up.
Don't do that.
Run
No.
them till they're in the
Yeah,
ground.
I have it in brackets in my notes together. Keep them together.
Yes.
And I think
don't overthink it.
I think with game 2, like it was, as an Oilers fan, you can never really get like super scared in the first period because it's our worst period, and like we've been scored on a bunch in the first period and then just absolutely snapped back in the third and won it so many times this season. And I think that's why we are where we are in the standings before the playoffs. So I was like, I wasn't too worried. And then it starts getting to the third and it's like, okay, we need to start scoring now or we're done. And that's exactly what happened. We didn't score, and it wasn't enough. Our top line like wasn't pitching in, like we said. Like we had all these guys who don't normally, like Kulak, he's not normally a big scorer at all.
Not at all.
Holloway, we pull
too.
him up and he maybe scores once, right? And which is a lot for him. And we don't pull him up enough, in my opinion. But it was just a hard watch because, as an Oilers fan, you always have hope no matter what, and then it just gets absolutely slammed.
Yeah.
But I think that hope should stay
Yeah.
there, right?
I feel like
you
the-
played a flat game and you lost in overtime.
Yep.
And there was
Yeah.
a couple really good bounces that go LA's way. Like,
Yeah.
And
McDavid is
And you have
going-
great depth players that scoring goals, right?
Yeah.
That's something you need in the playoffs. It's just your top line. Even Hyman scored again. Like it's
what
not
a
like your
pass from
top
Dry
line.
too.
Yeah.
Oh my God, that was gross.
Yeah.
And it's exactly what you're saying. Like you play a flat game, you still take them all the way to overtime, and I mean you
Like,
lose
it's
on
not
a
like
tough
he got
bounce.
blown out 7-2.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? If
Like,
they're
yeah.
now I'm starting to bite my nails,
Yeah.
right? But it's hockey, man.
It's an
you lose
overtime.
And
games.
that
You're not
was-
going to go 16-0
What
through
was
the
the-
playoffs.
was
You
it
can go
3
16-12. You're still going to win the cup.
Yeah.
Right? Like you just need to get that 16.
Did LA go up 3-0? Or was it
3-1, I think.
3-1?
3-1
But I
after
mean, like,
one.
Edmonton was resilient all night, right? Like they're coming back, they're finding ways to come back in the game, get back in there. The power play wasn't as great as it was the first game. Like that's sometimes what they gotta figure out. But
I mean, if Holloway can keep doing that, right?
Yeah, I
that's
mean, you
like
look at
that's some secondary scoring you need on that team, right?
and for a guy like Holloway, like he's had so much more confidence since he's come back up lately. Like he can step back in, and when he's scoring 2 big goals like that, like I
And
think
only
he tied it up both
juices
times.
those tires a little bit more.
Yeah,
right?
like-
now he's playing with an extra step, a little bit of confidence.
Exactly.
Like,
Yep.
honestly, it
Move him
sucks
up.
to lose.
I want to move him up.
Yeah, but also don't fix that something's
yeah.
not broke, right?
Well,
Like,
I mean, it's not like Kane is doing a whole lot on
No.
that third line.
I know.
Well, now we know he's got a sports hernia, which
I'm surprised came out.
Why?
Yeah,
Like
that was stupid.
Not like why? How did that come out?
I think
like,
he said it. No,
Did
Yeah, he
was that
did.
just Kane that just said
Yeah.
it?
yeah.
That is
I feel like Kane's that type of guy to just be like, yeah,
because as much as I don't like saying, like people target injuries.
Yep.
Yes.
That is something that happens
We'll
during
watch
the
that
playoffs.
happen with Dry against
Yeah.
LA and Calgary a couple years
last
ago.
year. Yeah, even last year in the Vegas series.
and then
Yeah.
they do it to McDavid all the time when they can, when he's injured.
Well,
They
and
go
we do it
after
too.
him.
Like we're not above
Yeah,
that,
no.
right?
Yeah.
Like we're just as scrappy and douchey as the rest of them. But like, don't
Arrow.
give them that, right? Like there was no need to just hand that away.
It makes no
Yeah.
sense.
And then everybody going after, well, like I wouldn't say going after, but everybody was like, why didn't we put him on LTIR?
That 100%.
Oh yeah.
Why?
100%.
When
The
he's sitting
mismanagement,
there,
man.
all of a sudden it's like maintenance day, and we're
And he's
winning
gone
these
for
games
months.
and stuff. It's like, well, why not just put him on LTIR, let him rest up, and actually be ready to go in the playoffs? He played like shit all season.
Well, and then you
I hate
can
to say
pull a
it.
Vegas.
We could have used that extra money.
Well, I mean, yeah, you add a $5 million of cap, and you've got a fully healthy Kane. Like, when he's fully going...
He's an amazing player.
Oh, my God, one of the best power forwards in the league. He scored 13 goals in 14 playoff games
His
a
hat
couple years
tricks
ago.
happen
Like,
almost regularly.
exactly,
When
like-
he's locked in.
This stuff is... It's not like this is crazy. Like, he should be... They should have done everything they possibly could to have that guy ready to go.
Yep.
And
I
that
agree.
I'm actually... That was really frustrating to hear that he's, like, dealing with a sports hernia of all things. Like,
for how
I
long
think-
now, right?
Yeah,
maybe
all season.
one of the reasons, now that I'm thinking about it, I think maybe one of the reasons he aired it out is because people were kind of coming after him a little bit, saying like, Kane,
Yeah, totally.
why
Yeah,
aren't
totally.
you scoring? You
But-
kind of suck this season.
You're a
and I think he was
professional.
like,
You wear
this
that
is
on the chin.
why. And I don't think he needs to defend that. He should have just kept it quiet and just tried his best in the playoffs. And he's doing better than the regular season, that's
Yeah.
for sure.
Throwing the ball around. Like he's
Yeah.
bringing different elements, right? But
Yeah.
You can tell.
just, man, you're getting paid $5, and not that the paycheck matters, but like you're a professional, you're a hockey player. This is what you have to deal with. Wear it on the chin, move on. Like you don't need to come out and ask for sympathy for a sports hernia. Like, if that is even
I don't
train
know
of
what he
thought.
was going for there.
I had
Like,
to even
actually
search
don't
it
get
up. I'm like, what the hell is a sports hernia? And it's like close to the no area. Like, why are you airing that out? Like, that's even like, I was like, I would have been embarrassed to be like, oh yeah, I have a sports hernia. It's like it's like a hernia near your groin.
Yep. Well, they're
Why?
common things. I
Yeah.
don't know. Like, a
Yeah.
lot of people get them, but
And sports hernia, that's probably maybe why they didn't, but because you don't really have a timeline on sports hernia. Like that can be a saying that you can be recovered in a week, right? But Kane clearly not.
Is that something you need surgery for? Like, I'm not
no,
even sure.
I don't. In major cases, yeah.
Yeah.
But I don't think
not a
you-
doctor.
Yeah. Yeah, that is the right answer.
Actually,
That is the right
Yeah.
answer.
I'm behind a microphone right now.
Reece just in stats guy over here.
yeah, it actually takes about 6 weeks.
We done talking?
Yeah, bounce to the
Yeah.
east.
Yeah,
Time?
We're 30 minutes in already.
Oh, jeez. Okay, time to go east. First of two series that can end this Saturday. Battle of Florida, Panthers versus Lightning. Florida's up 3-0 in that series. Oh boy,
Question mark right there.
This is a big question mark. It's like, and it's not like these have been blown out games. Every game is close, and it's 1-goal game, and one of them was an empty netter, so it was 2. But 1-goal games going down the stretch, back and forth all night long. It is insane hockey to watch. It's probably the most entertaining series so far, but Florida's taking this away.
My dad took Tampa, so he's not very happy right now.
Yeah,
I'm just like, I took
did we
Florida.
all? Did anybody have Tampa?
I had them as an easy upset, but I did still choose Florida.
Yeah, I think I just went Florida as well.
Yeah, I saw that series go in 7.
Yeah,
like,
I also had to
almost-
go in 7.
Yeah, you never
Guaranteed.
know. Tampa could just win.
Then
the
it's
next
just a coin
4.
flip.
Yeah,
Like,
I mean,
it's not
realistically.
out of there.
I mean, if any team can do it, it's Tampa, right? Or Dallas too, right?
Yeah.
I had Florida
But-
in 5, so I think.
Oh, there you go.
I think we'll.
There's your
I wouldn't
confident
be
pick.
shocked. Like, I really don't think Tampa gets swept again.
Yeah.
Like they did.
They have to win game 4.
Yeah, like, but I mean, it's exactly what you're saying. Like, it's not like these games have been blowout games. Like, it's like when Brendan Moore came out and was like, "We didn't get swept." Like, it's tough when you're going into these games and you're losing 4-3, and like Stamkos is playing goalie for the empty net
Yeah,
and
that
stuff.
was-
He's
Like,
been their best player.
Yeah, no, he's been a stud, and it's honestly gonna be pretty sad to see if this is the way that things end for him in Tampa Bay, losing to Florida of all teams, like their rivals, and just like having no fight back.
It's kind of like flipping the script now because Tampa's dominated that
Seriously.
state
Yeah.
for so long now, and now Florida's here, and they're looking mean. Extremely when you have better goalie right now. Bobrovsky is, holy smokes.
Yeah, the guy looks like a brick
That
wall.
game 2 save
Yeah, where you reach
It was
back.
insane.
reaches back in the back of the glove. Dominic Hasek looking like, holy smokes. Maybe save of the year right there.
Yeah, good to be lucky, lucky to be good kind of thing, right?
Mhm, totally.
I saw people making jokes about how like Demko slides across the net and he's hurt, but then Bobrovsky does that and he's like, people are like comparing the different ways they played and how one's hurt and one's not, and I thought it was a little bit funny.
Yeah,
I don't like find any like
I
truth
was say I
to
don't
that or
know.
anything.
I don't know how Demko was injured in game 1, but I don't know. Bobrovsky's been a
Might have
beast.
been one of the best saves I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah.
Totally.
Like-
that is one of those things. It's like, holy smokes, that's going to be on highlight save of the year packages
like,
forever.
that's one of those
TSN, top
ones where,
10.
yeah, you sit there and you're like, I'm
Oh, I
gonna
remember
be
that.
watching that for a long
And
time.
you're like, oh, I remember this.
Yeah, you're going to say something?
Well, he's just been doing it forever, right?
Yeah.
Like
Oh,
since
totally.
even before his Columbus days. Like it's just that's the style. It's chaos every time he's in the crease, and you know, you right when you think he's out of it, and I'll leave it actually, but he right back in it. It's crazy, and I love watching him play goalie. It's
Honestly,
Yeah.
though,
amazing.
like those first couple of years when he signed that contract,
It was looking
there was
scary.
not a whole lot of there wasn't a whole lot of days that I'd go by where I didn't see somebody going crazy about how Bobrovsky's making $10 million, and I mean that is a crazy contract. But I didn't hear a peep out of anybody since that playoff
Since
run
last
last
year,
year
yeah.
and this whole season. He, I think, has really refound his game. Like, I don't know what happened. It's hard changing teams and having those expectations.
and then they
stuff.
draft
So-
Spencer Knight right behind him.
Yeah,
I
right.
think one of the big factors is Paul Maurice. Ever since he's
True.
come into that Florida team, changed up all the systems, and just put a whole different tone in that room, Bobrovsky's been lights out. And
This is
That's a
true.
good
They're
pull.
not. That is a great point, actually. When they were getting swept by Tampa, or not swept, but when they were losing to Tampa Bay and stuff, like they were playing this run and gun type offense where Huberdeau was getting 115 points and like Uyghur was going crazy and like all these guys. But then like even this year when Tkachuk was going through that dry spell, like he was really struggling at the beginning of the year. And Paul Maurice was like, this guy is going to get rewarded. Like he doesn't deviate from the system. Like he does everything right. I'd way rather a guy making everything right defensively than cheating for offense.
Yep.
And like boom, all of a sudden Tkachuk started going off. But like that structure, like they play to it so strongly that like none of those guys think they're bigger than the team at all. Like that Florida team is a bunch of dogs. Like they are.
It's the guy you want to play for, and that's why he lasted so long in every other stop.
Exactly. He literally had to like break up with Winnipeg.
Winnipeg. That was emotional.
Yeah.
Like him and Winnipeg made this insane like connection with each other, and just to break up like that, go to Florida and just keep doing what he does best. It is insane how he's changed his Florida team, and now they're up 3-0 against Tampa Bay Lightning, right?
Yeah.
Who is not like Vasilevsky's been playing great too. It's not like it's like easy pickings. It is back and forth nonstop. I'm saying this again, but it's a great series, and Tkachuk's going to be one of the best playoff performers in our generation probably, and he's going to keep doing it nonstop. And I'm curious how we're going to see Stamkos. I love that he played goalie that last block in Game 3.
right where you don't want it. Like of all the places, right below the pants and above that shin pad.
I know, right? And
I could feel it through the TV.
Oh,
and it was a shooter too.
He's gonna have that bruise there for about.
Yeah.
If this is
probably
something
a
I
lump as
can
big as the table.
diagnose. This is something I can diagnose because I was getting that every fucking game this season. It felt like.
Yeah.
That's gonna be there for about 4 weeks,
and
it's gonna be gross.
That was a Tarasenko shot too. He does not have a soft shot.
Yeah.
And he ripped it too. He tried to get it right past him.
Right through him.
But yeah, that whole series can be over this Saturday.
Which is so crazy.
Yeah, that is.
For Florida.
You got to think Tampa wins it, though.
I could see
team at
it.
home. Like,
Yeah.
They can't. The most dangerous team is a desperate team. How long have you heard that for, right? Like,
True.
I can't believe that we're here to think that it could be done. I mean, how do you bet against Florida? But at the same time,
I mean, I put money on them to win Cup.
Oh.
So
there you go.
Hey,
you're giggling right now.
I know.
Eight teams in NHL history have come back from down 3-0. Who knows?
Only 8? Wow.
Isn't that insane?
I think Tampa takes Game 4, and then Florida takes the rest.
Gentleman sweep.
I think Reece is right with the 5 games.
Like not a big
Whatever.
deal.
It's whatever.
Not with Vegas.
Okay.
What I do.
Original 6 matchup. Bruins Leafs. Another amazing series right now. Bruins up 2-1 against the Leafs. Game 1, it was the Jeremy Swayman show. 972 save percentage. Bruins the entire game pretty much. 102 hits. I think this series is leading all hits right now in every other series. It is crazy how these guys are going
It's
right
rough.
at each other. It is a rough style hockey, and it's so entertaining to watch. Then Game 2 hits. Allmark starting in net. What?
Same.
But
Montgomery.
this is exactly what he got criticized for last year. Was not going to the other goalie after. Like, they rotate every single game all
season long.
regular season, and then the playoffs you want to just give it to one guy. It's not going to work. Like, I think he did the right thing, but I do think he has to start Swayman this Game 4.
Yeah.
And even Swayman came out, like, obviously those guys got a great relationship,
They do.
Swayman and Allmark, but even Swayman came out and was like, I don't want to come out. Like, why would I come? He was like, I want to keep playing.
I want to keep playing, yeah.
Well, little personal vendetta against the Leafs. Hey, you guys see that video on John Scott podcast?
Yeah.
Where the Leafs have been talking to him throughout the whole year.
Oh, yeah, and he's been undefeated against the Leafs, too.
Yes.
Swayman.
But Leafs talking
In
to
their
his
head.
draft year. Talking to him. He thinks,
Thinking
hey,
about
I've
getting
got a
picked.
pretty confident thing. 110 comes, they take Ian Scott out of Prince Albert, which
Instead.
at the time, I mean, they won the Western League that year. It's a perfect prospect. Why would you not, right? But then Boston comes up the pick after and takes Swayman.
Oof.
So to say that there's not a little bit extra juice there,
And it's working good for them. Swayman's absolutely locked in net.
Swayman, that's why I think that, like, Allmark had a good game, too. Like, he was
Yeah,
not the
honestly,
problem
like,
they lost
yeah.
at all. Like, Allmark played pretty well, and he was
Yeah.
making great saves. Swayman is just in their heads all the way up in their heads, in their kitchen.
Well, and
making
Max
a sandwich.
Domi giving him the shoulder, going back to the bench
during
I
a
thought was
TV
so
timeout.
funny.
That is just that's it right there. That is just full demonstration of Swayman's in their heads.
That might have been the longest fall I've ever seen on an NHL ice surface before, though. That was like he fell, like he got nudged, and I think he did honestly fall. Like I don't think he was
No,
diving
I
at all,
mean you don't
but
expect Domi to just like skate right in front of you and
he
put
was
up the
trying
shoulder.
to regain
Like,
his balance for probably 5 solid seconds.
yeah,
And there was nothing that came of it.
No.
Like no Bruins. I didn't watch the game. Like I just saw the
I
highlights
mean,
and stuff.
it kind of did.
Yeah.
Like, nothing as much as what it was before. I mean, there's
Yeah.
a scrum every whistle already.
It's just face washing. It's almost pathetic.
Yeah. Yeah, you don't like face washing?
Oh, just do something about it then. How about that? Like, I don't need a fight every, whistle, but at the same time, like, what are you gonna do? Punch me? No.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
I
No, skate away.
haven't seen any fights these
Nope,
playoffs.
there hasn't been a fight yet.
That's
I don't think
crazy.
there's been.
I'm surprised Rempe wasn't part of one.
Oh wait,
They're probably telling him to stay out of it.
was there one? No, I don't think there was.
I don't-
yeah, at
I
this
don't think
point,
there was at all.
don't give him any juice.
Yeah.
Just trying to remember now. Oh yeah, totally.
Might as well just go over to that New York.
Yeah, I guess we can go right now.
Whoop, whoop.
I mean, Rangers Capitals. It's kind of going how you probably think it would go.
Yeah.
Rangers up 2-0 right now. Ovechkin didn't register a shot game 1, which is that's
really
crazy.
unexpected.
One shot
Yeah.
so far this series, like
Yeah.
it's. I mean, you kind of got to give him a break. He's 38 years old. Like,
I mean,
But,
but the way
I
he's
mean,
like,
yeah.
he turned it around at the end of the regular
Exactly.
regular season. There, you thought he'd keep picking it up during the playoffs, but the Rangers are a different animal.
Do we think they're sweeping?
Sweeps are hard.
Sweeps are hard. I give him 5 when
I
also
think
give
it's
him
5,
Rangers,
yeah.
but
I don't know.
mean,
I don't know when I don't see Washington beating that team.
That's-
like
game 2 was a lot game 2 was a 1-goal game. That was a close game.
Yeah.
Right. I think they may have had the lead there for a while. I'm just trying to remember now. That it's definitely one of the series
There's
where
been
it's
so many
maybe the
games.
most unmemorable series right now.
yeah.
Because there's so much good ones going on, but
I got to talk about my boy Rempe
It's all
scoring
Rangers,
the
yeah.
first goal, his first career playoffs goal. What a beauty.
These scriptwriters are.
Stadium was chanting
I
his
love
name.
the scriptwriters this season. Whew, Oscar-winning performance.
Yeah.
We've talked about it a few times, but like, holy, what a freaking lifestyle change for that kid. Hey,
Yeah.
like,
Oh yeah.
even he's had a couple of interviews where he's like, yeah, like I just came out here and now everybody in the whole arena is chanting my name, like blah blah. But I think it is kind of starting to get to his head when he has that post game interview after game 1, and he's like, oh, I always bring the energy and
Like moms in
blah,
crowd.
yeah, like I don't know. It's starting to get a little bit cocky, maybe, but
Cocky's good. Honestly, I think Cocky's good in this league.
You know what? I like him having the confidence a bit, but I do like a little humble king. So,
Yeah.
I mean,
I
I
that
want
too,
him
but-
to bring the confidence on the ice, not the
I
post
mean,
game.
the role he plays though. I mean, you got to be cocky, right?
And it was a great goal too. Like he put himself in that great spot where Hyman usually hangs out, and he was just there. Like he was following the puck, he placed himself perfectly,
Yeah.
and he got it in. And it was a great goal. Like it wasn't like his first goal ever, where it just bounced off of him, and he was like, yeah. it was all him, like just getting it right in.
yeah, getting that first goal from a fourth line, that gets in the mecca of sports. Like that place was buzzing.
Yeah, Madison Square Garden. Damn.
Best Reno playing. But okay, I'm not sure if you guys have anything else on the series. It's not.
That
There's
was
not.
kind of been a wash.
Not a
for
whole
me.
lot
It's
to
not
go
too
through.
much, right? Yeah.
That Panarin hit on Oshie. Did you
Yeah,
guys see that?
that's a good one.
That was a little bit debatable.
That could have been suspension. I say that.
And so
would have been.
they called it a 5, and then they reviewed it, didn't they?
And they didn't call a penalty. I don't think. Did they
Yeah.
review it?
I think they did.
I think.
and then
then they called no penalty. on the
they
play.
called no
Yeah.
penalty at all. Like,
and it's like question mark. Like
Yeah.
what's going on?
I mean, I get it's playoffs stuff, but I mean, like, that was pretty high.
It is.
Yeah.
Actually, that whole series and the reffing has been tough.
Yeah, I've heard that it has been good.
And it's like, it's something the Capital, like, come on, it's the Capitals. At least have the refs in
Give 'em a
favor of them,
break,
right?
yeah.
Like, give them a chance.
Speaking of refs, I want to knock on wood here, but the reffing for the Oilers series has honestly like gone pretty good.
I think the reffing this whole playoffs
It's been
has
a few
really
fucking
good. Besides,
soft calls.
Yeah.
I think
Besides a
we're
couple,
kind of deviating a little bit from that playoff style. Like, oh yeah, like let them play. Like putting the whistles away. Like seeing those. Just to go back to the Oilers really quick, but those 3 penalties on Perry, I think maybe one of them was a actual penalty. Like there's a lot of diving going on, I think, right now. And I mean anything to get that edge, but like. Ugh.
Since we're on the Oilers a little bit right now, and we were talking about hits, I wanted to talk about how Desharnais was just getting absolutely beaten into a pulp. The poor guy got like the small guy. I think it was Moore. I could be wrong.
Took his legs out.
Skates up to him. Just a small guy compared to Desharnais.
I think Desharnais had a great game too. That game one.
I think
been
he had
so
a great
good.
game. And I just wanted to talk about how low that hit was. Like, Buddy crouched. He went down and he absolutely swept Desharnais' legs out from under him, and I felt so bad for him. And I was like, okay, we need a penalty, and a penalty was called. Thank God. But I felt he looked beat up after that one.
Yeah, I was surprised that wasn't even like a fine at least. Like,
Yeah.
It was
I
a
think
dangerous, pretty
I
classless
saw-
move, right?
Against the boards,
I saw
too.
like something that resembled it when the Oilers were playing Winnipeg a couple years ago, and Josh Archibald did pretty well the exact same thing. It was just more at center ice, and he got 5 in a game and was suspended. And it looked pretty similar. It's
Yeah.
just like Desharnais kind of got up and shook it off, but
that is a play that also could be suspended. Same with the Panarin
well, it's just
one.
so
but-
Yeah.
unnecessary, right?
Yep.
Like,
Totally.
you don't need to crouch there, right? It's kind of a scummy play to hit him from the back of the shoulder, but I would rather get crunched than, chopped right out.
Yeah.
and I mean like there is an argument for Moore being shorter than him, but I mean like there is also a lot of guys that are smaller than Moore that are hitting like I don't know. It's crazy.
And the bigger you are, the harder you fall, right? So it's like you got to be careful with that.
Oh, last series here, Islanders Hurricanes. Another series that can end this Wednesday. Canes up 3-0. It is kind of how you expected it to go. Once again, even though I had Islanders picked, that was just a flip of a coin pretty much. But these Canes are crazy good. And a guy like Kuznetsov opening the scoring for you guys, deadline acquisition, doing the whole eagle whatever crap. Love it. And Anderson's been lights out for
That
them.
save last night.
Which
Was
one?
a 3-2 game.
Yep.
And I don't
On
know how he ended up
Romanov.
on his side. I
Yeah.
actually kind of missed that part of it, but
I
he's
also missed
laying
it.
there kind of out of it. And, thanks,
Yeah,
look what I
pretty
found.
much 80s, 70s goalie. Like Romanov coming up the side, snags it, glove save, spinning, doing cartwheels. It was so sick. Probably stole the game for game 3 there. But these Canes have been insane.
Yeah.
And poor Islanders. And they're getting outplayed, outshot every game, but they're somehow still in those games. Unlike the Caps where it's kind of more of a lopsided series, somehow the Islanders are in these games. And their game 2, they were up 3-0, 3-zip, and of course the Canes being the Canes, they make the comeback. Jordan Martinhook making the game-winning goal, Leduc guy, so big ups to him. But it's just all Canes this whole series. I'm not sure if you guys want to pop in with any of that.
Covered it.
Yeah,
That
Freddie's grid.
That Hurricanes team has a lot of higher wants than this first round.
I'm excited for that next series. I don't see a crazy upset going either way there with that, but watching the Rangers and the Canes meet up next round,
Yep.
That'll be good.
that's
gonna be crazy.
That's
We
gonna
didn't
be
get
fun.
to see that last year with New Jersey being there, so and like I mean Carolina, like they get pretty feisty too. Like they definitely like that. I don't know if you guys saw that Jake Gensel empty netter. And,
Oh, yeah.
Like wasn't really a whole lot to it. Like Gensel kind of just tosses it in, whatever. And then
He was
Nelson,
smack talking.
Probably.
Yeah.
Nelson was just coming behind him and gave him a pretty solid 2-hand whack. And Gensel just turns around, stares him right in the eyes, just, yup, come on, let's go. Like,
Yep.
And then that little scrum breaks out. But, like, I don't know. you can't really take that shit if you're the Islanders. Like, you got to get a little bit feisty in these playoffs.
Yeah.
Okay, I am going to have to step out because I do have to work, but the boys are going to continue talking about news.
Blame the other.
Okay, time to move on to news right now. Playoffs still going on, but all the off seasons starting with the other teams. Starting with Lindy Ruff getting the head coach job once again in Buffalo. That is kind of out of nowhere, honestly. Like Buffalo bringing back the old guy, and he coached 15 seasons there from 1997 to 2013, and it's a 13 years now. Buffalo hasn't made the playoffs, so not sure what you guys think about that.
It's crazy that Buffalo hasn't made the playoffs for 13 years, and they rehire a coach that has been part of that 13-year stretch. Like,
yeah,
it's I honestly, they were saying this on Chicklets, and I kind of agree. Like, it seems lazy. Like, there's so many good options out there, and like, for them to just go back to Lindy Ruff, who basically just had one of the most disappointing seasons out of any coach in the league for sure. Like, out of anybody that should be getting hired, like, after getting fired this year, in my opinion, it shouldn't have been him for sure.
I agree. And like you said, I hate recycling coaches.
Yeah.
That is one thing. There's so many good coaches, even in NCAA right now, in all the junior leagues. There's so many great coaches. Even Jay Woodcroft, right? Like the guy who just got fired in Edmonton. He's a younger guy who's just did his first couple of years, right? So recycling these old coaches, and Lindy Ruff, like you said, he had a miserable season with the Devils this year. And I don't know how he's going to do back in Buffalo. I know he loved Buffalo. When he was there, he absolutely adored that city, and the fans liked him too, right? But it's a little bit in the future now, but we'll see how this goes. I think Buffalo, they have a great squad on them, right? Like, they have a great team, young team. Lindy's going to take this all together. I feel like he's going to actually start putting some structure into it. Hopefully, maybe that's the big reason why they brought him, to just have a veteran coach. I'm not sure if you want to put anything on, Brennan.
Yeah, no, I would just echo the same thing you guys are saying. It doesn't make no sense to me why, like, we've tried it, move on, but that doesn't seem to be the case.
I guess we'll see what happens this year in Buffalo. Who knows? Maybe they'll make the playoffs. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge on the knock on wood. I don't know. We'll see. In other coaching news, David Quinn getting relieved of his coaching duties in San Jose. Bummer. Like, actual bummer, dude. It is probably the worst deck of cards you could have been dealt there. No other coach would have done the same job of what he did. And Reece, you want to say what you're thinking about Greer?
Yeah, like, I mean, I think it's fair for Greer to step in there his first year there. Kind of already set a fire sale of the team. Like, he's probably going to want to get his guy in there, have who he wants to coach that team and shape those young guys. And I don't blame him. Like, I think that's definitely fair, but I think you're right, Noah. Like, it's tough. No coach would have done any better like that. When you're icing a team where Mikael Granlund is your best player on the ice, like, that's not a good recipe. I think that whole team was just, they pretty much met every expectation this season, and they weren't very high.
Honestly,
so
they went on a good run too. They had some good looks, and like, for the squad they had, I'm very surprised about this Quinn firing.
Yeah, it sucks. Like, especially for a guy who would have been there. He's been there for a couple of years. He's kind of gotten to know those young guys, especially like gotten some of these guys probably to carve out NHL careers who probably wouldn't have, like, if this wasn't the case. Like, it's kind of sucks, but I mean, as an Oilers fan, you see these coaches go in and out all the time. I'm sure Quinn will find a new job somewhere else. And
totally. Yeah, that could be a place Woodcroft can go.
Yeah, I wouldn't be shocked.
I'm curious what approach they go for. I guess they'll probably wait until the draft lottery, I'd say, see if they get Celebrini.
Yeah.
Because that can determine the whole franchise, right?
Oh, 100%.
So maybe they wait until then to hire a new coach. Maybe they go for a veteran guy. Maybe they go for a younger guy who's more open. Whoever's best for Celebrini, right?
Yeah.
So kind of like how they did with Chicago and even Oilers this year, right?
But I was kind of thinking about like how Chicago, like, they want. I don't know how long Kyle Davidson's been there, actually.
Kyle Davidson, he's a younger guy too, right?
Yeah, like I don't
For
know
being
if
a
he was
general
there
manager.
before they got Bedard, but I did think that it was kind of like
No, I think he was there for
yeah,
yeah.
because I was gonna say it does seem kind of strange that if they had this coaching position and they get Connor Bedard and you hire like somebody who hasn't coached in the NHL before.
Well, they hired Luke Richardson for their head coach.
Right.
So, and I think he's been great. He was in Montreal for a couple years as their associate coach, and I feel like he's been doing a great job in Chicago. So, a guy like Luke Richardson could be a guy San Jose wants, right? So, we'll see how that all goes down. Maybe we'll see if they win the lottery, which I think I just saw is on May 7th. So, lottery's on May 7th. Mark your calendars for then. You guys want to put a prediction who you guys think is going to get Celebrini?
I watched Chicago get him.
yeah, I wouldn't mind
Watch it.
Chicago getting
That
him.
would be insane.
Be kind of cool.
That would be really cool. I feel like Chicago needs it too,
Or
right?
honestly, San Jose. Like I'd be
More.
pretty cool
That
seeing
too.
San Jose get him. Like
I mean,
Him and Will Smith.
San Jose
Yeah.
has been a great team for so long, right? They've always had good teams in there, and now they're in this really down bad rebuild right now. So, I mean, Celebrini can change that all just like that. So,
for sure, you ice a couple of years from now. You ice a first line of Eklund, Celebrini, and Will Smith.
Yeah.
Like that's pretty sick.
I mean, if I was Celebrini, I'd probably like to go to San Jose as well, right?
Yeah.
Go to Cali, like,
Oh,
God
yeah.
forbid.
oh, that'd be a great spot to land. And new team in Utah, they had their meet the team type of event going on. Sold out the entire arena and the floor. Holy smokes, they were loud.
They look like rock stars.
I know,
Pretty
right?
sick. Like it's got to be such a different environment for them. Hey.
And they did something like how Seattle did it when they did their expansion draft, where they had the players go up with the microphone and just say, "Hi, my name is blah 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 blah." And then this kid, Liam O'Brien, comes up. I am Liam O'Brien, but you can call me Spicy Tuna. Everybody starts erupting with laughter. All the players are just like, oh my God, he actually said it. What a rock star. And my favorite, he's now clearly the most fan favorite player on Arizona or on
Yeah,
Utah.
Easy.
He is a UFA player, or he is a UFA this summer. He just guaranteed himself a contract with the
definitely.
guy,
Oh,
or
yeah.
with the Utah. Like, how can you not get a contract now? What a smart move. You think that was planned, or it's just how he is? Like, I feel like that'd be so smart to do. Just go in there is like, yeah, let me be a fan favorite. Kind of like how Brendan Tanev did it in Seattle.
Yeah.
Right? Kind of very similar to that. So,
I
spicy
mean-
tuna.
Puts you in a good spot for sure. If the fans are on your side before you even play a game there, that's pretty good. But I think he's one of those guys, he's absolute nails. Like he's a fun player to watch. He's so good. Or I mean, he's not like crazy skilled for sure. But holy Dynas, he looks like such a prick to play against.
And so, speaking of Utah, they actually copyrighted more names. So I'm just going to go through them. Utah Mammoth. Utah Ice, Utah Yetis, which is very popular on social media, Utah Venom, Utah Fury, Utah Blizzard, Utah Outlaws, Utah Hockey Club, and then Utah HC. Those are some wacky names. And I saw that they might do like not a survey, but like a bracket and have fans vote on it. So that could be something that happens with those team names. But I'm curious what they pick. I'm not sure if do you like any of those names, Brendan? I saw you shaking your
just
name.
feel second class. I don't know why. And I mean, once something sticks and you hear
Yeah.
a bunch, it'll all be fine. Like I don't know. I don't really have a
should do
favorite in
some-
that list.
I'm
but
curious what the state animal of Utah is.
It's actually that they were saying on Chicklets that it's the beehive state or the bee state or something. But I think it
Yeah.
would actually be kind of cool to have like the stingers,
yeah.
have something like that. Like I think that's cool. I do like the Yetis and the Venom. I think that's kind of cool, but I do think you're right. Like it's not. I don't think they found it yet.
Totally. I didn't mind Blizzard. I don't know. But Utah is weird because it is like Rockies, but then in the summers it's dry and almost outlandish. So I don't know. It's gonna
I
be
believe in
fun.
him though, and he's doing everything right. And honestly,
mean,
if
yeah,
the fans end
totally.
up voting for it,
Let the
fans pick, man.
Right.
It's their team.
I do
at the
think
end of
that's
the day.
pretty cool.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah, I'm a big fan of Ryan Smith, and he's like the only owner who's on Twitter constantly, right? So he's making tweets about this all the time. So, who knows? Maybe none of those names get picked, right?
I saw that it was only a few years ago that he bought the Jazz, and it wasn't like that crazy, much money for like an NBA team.
Yeah.
And then he bought the Utah soccer team there, and then revived another soccer team in Salt Lake City, and just bought this NHL team. Like, he's been making some pretty crazy moves over the last, 5 years.
I think he's because he's making a pitch for Salt Lake City for the Olympics, too.
That'd be sweet. See them come back.
There's rumors now about bringing a professional ball team there.
Really?
Yeah, that place is blowing up.
Yeah, he's
look at
pushing.
him. That's
One
all Ryan
of
Smith
these
is.
teams has to be named the Soakers. One of them.
We'll see. I don't know. Guess we can go. Ivan Fedotov, the tall Russian goalie in Philly, signed a 2-year extension with the Flyers, $3.25 million.
Wow.
Kind of reminds
for
me of a
2 years.
Koskinen deal, if I'm being honest.
Very similar to Koskinen. I mean, he's also very tall too, right? Right. So a tall goalie coming from the KHL, signing him for $3.25 million.
Good for him.
Yeah, I mean, good for him. Hopefully,
Great for him, yeah.
you gotta hope that figures out the Philly goalie issue.
Yeah, for his showcase so far has been not much, but it takes time to adapt to North America game.
I guess it's not even much of an issue. Like, with how well Eris played this year, I think he's gonna get quite a few Calder votes.
I mean, how much is he still on an entry level?
I think
He must be. So you're only having $4 million
Yeah.
locked up in your goaltending. It's nothing. Really.
If you can ice that going into next season, you're in a pretty good spot, especially
Totally.
for a team that really doesn't have to make the playoffs.
Well, another no playoff team, Alex Vlasic with the Chicago Blackhawks signing a 6-year extension worth $4.6 million AAV. Good for him. Honestly, that is a great contract for both sides, honestly.
100%. That's a win-win.
That is a
It doesn't
win-win.
happen often, but
I mean,
that's good for everybody.
Vlasic's getting his job security. I mean, he was probably he 1 year in the NHL, just like that. He's now making $4.6 million a year. So it's good for him. He earns it. He earned every single bit of it. He had a great season this year, and he's only going to get better from here. He's 6'6" too, so another tall, big guy.
Yeah, can't teach size.
So yeah, true. And so good for him. Blackhawks are gonna love this deal. Blackhawk fans are gonna love this deal. It's gonna look great in 5 years, right? So it's one of those deals that are only gonna look better. Kind of hoping Caden Gooley signs something like that too. Probably very similar players, and Gooley has a little more games under his belt, but hopefully something like that, 4.6 for 6 years. Take that.
Yeah. No, and I mean, for rookies on that Chicago team that aren't named Connor Bedard, they kind of fly under the radar a little bit. And, obviously, Vlasic isn't, the most flashy guy in the NHL,
Totally.
but he definitely, anytime the Oilers were playing him, you can really tell, this guy is defensively sound. There isn't a whole lot that gets through this kid.
Every time I watch the Blackhawk team, that's the one guy I always just point out.
Yeah.
That was a sick play.
And I mean, for a 22-year-old, that's not very common. So for them to lock him up and have this guy, it kind of reminds me of that Samuelson deal that Buffalo gave him. I think that it'll work out good for these Blackhawks, where they're going to need to pay some of these guys big money for sure, especially if they get a top pick this year. There's going to be a lot of money going around there, and if you can lock this kid up for something cheaper than what he'll get on the open market in a couple of years, then heck yeah.
Well, big news in kind of the broadcasting spot, but NHL officially announces a 2-year deal with Amazon that will see Prime Video become the home national Monday games in Canada starting next season. So Monday Night Hockey is going to Amazon, which that's only good for the league.
Yeah, I see it that way too, yeah.
Yeah, that is only good for the league. Amazon, you're going to make a ton of money through that right now. And they do great with our Thursday Night Football and NFL, so I don't see why Monday Night Hockey is going to be great. Might have to rebuy Amazon Prime now. Shucks.
And for anybody that is one of those dinosaurs that's oh, now I have to go and get my Amazon loaded up and God forbid, dude, you're getting this access to this game way easier.
Totally.
Half the people don't have cable now. So then if they're able to just watch this on something that they're already subscribed to, you're going to get way more people into the game. It's just going to grow it even more. And how much money do you think Amazon is paying for this? Like,
it ain't pennies.
yeah,
Yep.
exactly. Like this is all contributing to more money for the players, like higher cap. Like this is all good for the league.
Well, and a 2-year deal too, right? Like say something does
Yeah.
blow up, it's not like we're strapped to that
Exactly.
for 10 years. You know,
It's not some
re-up for
weight
another
on your
10
hand.
years and
Yeah.
2 years, right?
Exactly.
Totally. Yeah, everything's
It's only
good.
good. It's only good for the league. And
Positive podcast so far. Hey,
Let's go.
we're very happy for these
here,
guys.
news just broke out. Jim Montgomery said Bruins have decided on their goaltender for Game 4, and quote, "We're following the plan we had in place."
We're
end
going to
quote.
Allmark.
So yeah, it sounds like
We
Allmark.
might see Allmark in
No
Game
way.
4.
But I mean, if they play, like if Allmark plays and they lose, which I mean, going to Toronto, they're in Toronto up 1 game. Like the Toronto has to win this game.
You go into those hoping for splits, right? So,
Yeah.
Not that you're playing with the house's money, but in a roundabout sense, you kind of are.
If Boston wins this game though, like I think the series is over. Like
Yeah.
Toronto's not coming back, in
Yeah.
my opinion.
Probably
But
not,
I
yeah.
like. It's hard to say, but I do kind of respect Montgomery for like,
Sticking to the guns.
yeah, like actually doing what he has kind of said he's gonna be doing.
Honestly, yeah, he only respect to him. Like, if it works out, it works out. He looks great. He looks amazing if that happens. And just the way Swayman's been playing, though, it is so hard to say no and put Allmark back in.
There's
that takes so much balls to do.
Yeah,
Like
it's not like the Islanders situation where they're going back to Vermala for Game
Yeah.
4
Yeah.
after
Sorokin's
just
stunk to bed
let
there.
in, 3 goals on 14 shots?
Yep.
Or what? Oh, yeah,
I think that was spot on.
like that's rough.
Oh shoot! I just forgot what I was gonna say.
Montgomery.
Oh, dang, dude.
Bruins.
Oh
There you
yeah,
go.
that's the thing about. Sorry guys. That's the thing about having 2 good goalies. Like it's such a luxury, right? To be able to toss any guy in there and feel confident in him. But then when you get to the playoffs and 1 game means the world, this is when it sucks because then all of a sudden you're like, oh, well, why wouldn't you start Swayman when he started 2 games? Well, Allmark also has been playing good and they've been rotating all year. Like there's 2 different ways that you can go down this, and both of them, somebody's gonna be pissed off.
Well, and who knows the team better than the head coach, right?
True.
Like, I think at this point you just kind of put your faith in it, and he knows more about that team than everybody in Edmonton combined. So
Yeah,
I also don't think it's bothering the Bruins at all either. Like,
yeah. It's not like either of those goalies.
I mean,
care.
you have 2 amazing goalies. The
Yeah.
Bruins are like, we don't care who's playing.
No.
And I feel like it's probably affecting the Leafs more.
Yeah,
I feel like,
oh yeah, Leafs are in the tailspin right now.
yeah, like
What is going on?
what is going on? I love how they're doing this. It's playoffs. You're not going to know anything until game time, and we'll figure out who's starting in goal.
now I actually think Swayman's gonna start.
Yeah.
Yeah, totally. That could totally
It's just
happen,
head
right?
games, hey?
Yeah, like
It's all mental game, and it's totally gonna work. And I love it so much. Montgomery is a genius. He definitely learned his lesson from last year in Florida, where he stuck to Allmark. He said he's their guy. He's the Vezina winner, and didn't go how you wanted it to go. Now you're doing this rotation, which everybody said he should have done, and it's just working. It might, like, Allmark played game 2. He lost. He still played amazing, and
Yep, move
that is
on.
a good sign. Like, that's maybe if he stunk in game 2, it'd be a different talk, I feel, but no. So, any more news, guys? Because
Did we touch on Willie?
yes, we can
yeah.
touch on.
Do you
Willie.
guys think he plays tonight?
That's a good question.
I'm gonna say I doubt it.
It's kind of like Swayman Allmark.
Yeah.
I also say doubt it.
Like with the lack of stuff coming out, obviously it's playoffs, like it kind of makes sense. But I mean, like I've kind of been thinking all along this has to be a concussion problem, and they've kind of been saying a little bit more and
Yeah.
more that it's migraines and blah blah blah,
Yeah.
but they won't really call it a concussion. But I mean, like this is what happens when you play a guy that doesn't need to be playing game 82.
Yeah.
And I think, or maybe it was game 81, they were saying, whatever. Like, even if he's a little bit banged up going into game 82, why is he even playing? It was against the Sharks, I'm pretty sure.
Well, that and like they had their seeding locked up.
Yeah,
though.
like, it's not like they were fighting for first in their division.
And even that, like, if you're fighting for first, I mean,
I don't know.
the matchups weren't crazy. Like, I don't know, man. Like,
I
it just doesn't
just
make
know-
sense.
I know I don't know. I know Nylander has this Iron Man streak going. It doesn't make sense to. I know.
Put the pride away, man.
Maybe that's just what it is, right?
But I mean, like, if he does come back and is William Nylander, then that's a huge boost to Toronto. We could see the series completely swing.
He did play that game 82, and he looked miserable the entire game. He looked terrible.
Should have just pulled a Phil, went out there for 3-second shift and turn around.
I miss Phil. But yeah, and he says he's out for personal reasons now. So that's him trying to cover up that maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know, that migraines thing that went out. No one knows, and they're not going to say, of course, but.
Keith might. He's kind of a jabroni on the mic
Yeah,
sometimes.
seriously.
True on it.
He says some really head-scratching things at times.
Yeah, you want to talk about distraction.
Yeah.
This might be a bit more of a distraction than 70 goals.
Yeah. I mean, if the Leafs lose in the first round, I say Keith is gone.
Yeah, head's got to roll.
I can't believe he's been there this long.
I'm surprised. We said it probably the beginning of the year when Kyle Dubas got knocked out. I think that was the wrong decision. I think they could have kept Dubas and got rid of Keith. I think that was I think that's how they should have went for. I like Dubas, and I don't know. We'll see how Keith goes.
Well, it's so crazy.
I think the fans have turned on him.
Yeah, big time.
That's the big one.
Well, maybe not. I'm not in the Toronto market, but just as far as my Twitter goes. But
I'm pretty sure it has.
But the fact that team's built, like, all their money's pretty much locked up on top end forwards.
In the forwards, like, if you look at that defense,
they've scored one game. They've scored more than 2 goals in the last 10
Something like that.
in playoffs. Like that's not okay. You're spending way too much money on big guys to have that be the case.
Matthews did have a great game too.
Great,
and he's been good all 3 games. I'll give him that. He's actually. I think that third game he came out and he said he played with an illness that game. Why would you say that?
Yeah.
That's kind of the Evander Kane situation again. That is just excuses that you shouldn't just be saying to media.
Well, I was sick, so.
Yeah, I was like,
not my fault.
I
had my guy.
I
had my guy.
So, I don't get it. He's been good, though. Tavares has been good. I like how he's played. Marner's that guy, though, who has to be better.
Yeah.
He just has to be.
Yeah. Well, we're going on, 8 years, 9 years in the league?
I feel like, and it's every year. It's the same conversation,
story.
Right? Like, he had a couple good feeds the other couple nights, but it's just not enough. He's not changing the play. He's not.
Well, something to be said about playoff hockey being big boy hockey, right?
Mm-hmm,
like,
totally.
He plays a small game, and he's a small guy,
and you're
guys,
playing for your hometown team too. Like, all the pressure he has on the media is probably more than anybody else in the league, right?
Did you guys see that clip of him going for that loose puck in the corner with McAvoy?
I didn't actually.
I don't think so.
His puck wraps around the boards, and he's got a clear lane. Like, he's first man on the puck. And I don't know if you guys have, like, seen kids, like, when they're nervous to get hit.
Just hit the brakes?
Yeah, like, makes it look like he's going towards the puck, cuts an edge, lets McAvoy go and grab it, and then, like, plays, like, tries to just stick up McAvoy,
That's not a good look.
So soft. Oh my gosh, I would have been strapped to the bench if that shit happened to me in junior C. Like, let alone the NHL playoffs. Like, that was crazy, and like, it's been going on so long now where it's not even like, oh well, he's had a bad playoff run. Like, it's 2 games, whatever. Like, going back years and years, he had 8 games in a row or something where he tossed the puck over the glass, and like he's just gotta, like, it's obviously a mental thing because he can go from the regular season in game 82 scoring 4 points and dominating to game 1 of the playoffs and just complete shell of himself.
Yeah. It's just not a good look. I understand people in the locker room know his game and what he's supposed to do as his role, but when you're bailing out on a hit like that, and your whole bench is looking at you, it's like,
as an assistant captain,
like, it is not a good look. Extremely in a hard hitting series like that one where everybody's throwing their body, they're sacrificing everything they got. And Marner's doing that, and then he's still not producing. It is not a good look at all. But
if you look at that defense, though, that team is not making it far. Like,
no, whoever wins that goes and presumably plays Florida.
Yeah, and then just loses immediately.
And
Sorry.
that's the thing. I don't think that's been their problem this series.
No,
I think their
like,
defense, I think
yeah.
Joel Edmondson has been great for them.
No, I think
Lubushkin's been good for them. I think Morgan Riley's been great.
I think Riley has a goal. I think Liljegren has a couple points. Like, I think they've been playing above their standards.
Yeah.
It's just these other guys.
And
I think John Tavares had a really, really good game too. I watched that one, and he was like, there wasn't a whole. I think Pasternak got the puck, reverse hit Tavares, slammed in the ice. Next play, Tavares picks up the puck, Pasternak comes and hits him, reverse hit Pasternak right on the ice. Like, it was like, I'm big dogging you. Like, that's the stuff that you want to see out of these leaders and stuff. Like, I don't know. It's hard to say, but I think like Leafs are probably cooked if Nylander's out there. If he's not playing this game, they're done.
Yeah. And it's just that the thing with the Leafs for me, I don't think it even is Samsonov either. I think it's their forward core, and their forwards are not
Samsonov
playing defense.
Is taking so much. Like, why are we putting it on this guy? He's
all
pretty
of the
much
pressure.
Jack Campbell of the Leafs right now. He was down in the minors. Like, the fact that he's winning you games and letting you stay in games is remarkable.
And I see,
and we're gonna throw it on that guy? Are you kidding?
And he's been great.
That Marchand goal, where that goal, the game winner,
no one's saving that.
That's a National League goal.
That whole thing, the puck is down low. Leafs send Matthews and Bertuzzi doesn't pick up his guy.
At it too?
Yeah,
that might be more fun than the hockey.
Yeah, true.
Honestly,
Bertuzzi and Marchand,
and that empty netter too. Marchand just pretty much flips Bertuzzi over his back and then just ices the game with an empty netter. Like,
horrendous, and that is why the Leafs are stinking right now. Those forwards in the defensive zone. Oh my God, they are tough to watch. Bertuzzi and extremely, and Domi's had a couple. I love Domi, and he has had a couple stinker plays, and it's fun to watch, honestly, because I'm not a big Leafs guy, and I love seeing how people explode on Twitter.
Yep.
But it's just like you said, that game-winning goal by Marchand, he just went through everybody. Bertuzzi's only going for the body, not the puck, and goes right around him, then scores that beautiful National League goal right there.
Yeah, goal in any league, right?
And then pretty much the same thing in empty netter.
Well, and the fact that Marchand's got free rent in there and then goes and it's one thing for Kylee to Rempe, right?
Yep, totally.
The fourth liner that gets out there for 7 minutes a game, Marchand's every third shift.
Yeah,
he's out there and he's gonna just drive you nuts, and then he's gonna go score that goal. Yeah, that is so demoralizing as a team.
You look at the difference between it's not like Brad Marchand is the most skilled guy in the world, but holy Diana, is he a clutch performer.
He's such a good player. He is insanely, when it hits playoffs time, even in the regular season, he's just so good.
I think he's probably top
underrated.
10 in scoring in the last 10 years.
Yeah, and Pasternak hasn't even been the best player either in the series, right? It's mainly been Marchand.
But that's good hockey to watch. They don't like each other for sure.
And yeah, that's going on tomorrow. I think it's going on. And I think we got three. I keep breaking up here. We got 3 Western Conference teams going on tonight.
Yeah, we got Oilers Kings, and then Canucks Predators and Jets Avalanche. And then on the Eastern side, we've got the New York Rangers and the Washington Capitals.
Is he always saying that he hopes the patience pays off
in
that series?
That is the right response, though.
Right response, but
what else are you
patience for what, bro? You're already down 2 games.
They're waiting until it's 3, then they'll turn it on.
I get it, but at the same time, we don't have much more time to wait.
You're not in trouble until you lose at home, right? And that is something I always like to say. If Washington can take 2 here still. It's not impossible.
No, they're not out of it, but
they're
right there.
It's not 3-0 yet, so I don't know. I think that's probably about it, though. I guess we can go.
You have a final note, don't you?
Yeah. Bob Cole, play-by-play voice for all of Canada for the last century, pretty much, dies at 90. Everybody's heard his voice. Everybody, if you've been watching hockey, you've heard his voice in your living room.
Even if you don't like hockey, I'm sure you've heard his voice.
Yeah, every iconic play in the last 5 decades. it's probably his voice. Every iconic, like you were saying, the Mario Lemieux one, right?
Yeah. One of my favorite goals of all time is that Stevie Y one, and then you kind of get the cool shot from behind,
right behind the net.
St. Louis, and slap shot from the blue line, and jumping around, and of course Cole's on the call, right?
Yep.
Like the guy's everywhere, and big part of hockey growing up for myself, and I imagine you guys do, right?
Yeah,
you wanna-
100%.
You want to say something, Reece?
Yeah, one of those guys, like, he's lived the career that I would love to do. Like, one of the dudes I would look up to. Like,
Totally.
had a phenomenal career, really, like, carved out a career in this kind of thing. Like, it's not like there was probably that many commentators and stuff when it's
totally.
in
He
the
grew the game.
50s, whenever the hell he started. Like, pretty incredible career for that guy, and definitely, like, got to give him credit.
And he's just one of those people that every NHLer, every fans loved him.
Mm-hmm.
And when he retired in 2019, every player came out, every major player, every even lower guys came out and said, I listened to this guy growing up. He's a big reason why I'm even playing hockey right now. So
Well, you retweeted that John Cooper thing last night. That was
that's
super
what I was
cool.
going to bring up. And that was if you haven't seen John Cooper's post game after Game 3, and he brought up pretty much the same thing. Like
He's
without
just
Bob Cole, it's just he wouldn't have been there. He wouldn't be in that position. And so it's just how much impact that guy had on the league. It's condolences to his family. Passed away in St. John's, Newfoundland. So I know a lot of people who know him and whatnot. So it's sad to see him go, but it's always good to see. It's just like going through Twitter and seeing all the best memories and whatnot. It's always good to see that. And
He lived a full life too, right?
oh, totally.
For sure.
And
So that-
one of
Got
the
to
best.
see a lot of cool stuff.
And the Wayne Gretzky of sports commentating.
Seriously.
right there,
Yeah.
right?
Or Gordie Howe.
Or Gordie
according
Howe.
to Wayne.
All right. Well,
I did
you know-
one final note. I just want to say this is our last day of this second
is.
semester. Just wanted to shout out everybody that listens. We really appreciate it. We see the numbers. The people that do listen, that is sick. We really appreciate it.
Mhm.
And I wish Kylee was here, but I did want to say, like, shout out to you guys, like Brendan, Noah, and
Aw.
Kylie. Like,
Make
it
me
wouldn't
tear
be
up here.
happening
Yeah.
without you guys. Like, I really appreciate this. This has been super cool to be doing this stuff. So,
we're not done.
We're not done.
We're not done.
We might have a couple hiccups.
Yeah.
It might get a little goofy over the next couple of weeks because we are not going to be in person for the summer pretty much until next September. So we are swapping to online video format, which is, it could be a great thing or it could be even more awkward how it is already. So we'll see how that goes.
yeah, have some patience with us. We'll figure it out, and then hopefully it leads to
Yep.
much better content and everything like that.
We're thinking, with the video content, we can do more social media.
Some
crap with
clips,
that. Hopefully blow up a little.
get some hot takes.
Yeah, get some more moms watching us. Well, thank you. It's been a great season so far. We're not done though. We'll be switching to online now, so it's gonna be goofy. That's all I gotta say about that. Thanks for
Hold on for the
listening.
ride.
Yeah, thanks for listening. Share, like, follow. See you guys next week.
That has been another episode of Around the Rinks, your go-to hockey podcast. We'll see you next time.